Fourscore and 7 years ago, I made a YouTube post asking my dear viewers for their favorite one-hit wonders of all time. After many trials and tribulations, I remembered my password and was able to sign into my computer. I'm going to rank the responses on this tier list here. And please note the brand new tier at the bottom called Nuh-uh, for answers that literally don't make sense. That happened several times. Let's get started. Blevman SB says, "Somebody That I Used to Know" by Gautier. The one-hit wonder, dare I say, and the first song that I imagine came to many minds today, and rightfully so. Absolute classic of a track, though. Really good song. Incredible vocal chemistry, and it's just a very unique, fun track. I'll say GOAT tier. John RE7 says, "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana, by an underground band that originated in the 80s. Can't remember the name. I believe Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters is loosely connected to this track, but that's all I really know. It's a pretty cool track. Is it a one-hit wonder? Perhaps not. Actually, scratch the perhaps. Nuh-uh. Noah Y5367 says, "Come On Eileen" by Dexy's Midnight Runners. Great song, but I couldn't name another song in their discography. Super classic track, and absolutely a one-hit wonder. Just sounds like a warm summer barbecue. You know what I mean, dear viewer? Like a beautifully sunny day. I'm out of things to say. S tier track. Blizzard King 2002 says, "Stolen Dance" by Milky Chance. Was this in FIFA at some point? Someone will know. This is nostalgic for sure, but I don't know how well it's aged, to be honest. I think it sounds good to everyone that grew up in the song's prime. Not really as good on its own 2 feet in the big 26. I'm going to say B tier. Drummer Aikman 13.5 says, "How to Save a Life" by The Fray. Such a beautiful song. It's solid, I'd say, but I wouldn't go too much further. And I don't know if they're a one-hit wonder either. Maybe a 2 or 3 hit wonder. But note all 3 songs sound pretty much the exact same. It's good, but I'd go no further than that. Very sweet track, but relatively generic sadcore stuff, I'd say. Top of the B tier. Mr. Penguin 8471 says, "Take Me Out" by Franz Ferdinand. Relatively loose on the one-hit wonder part, I'm afraid. I hear a decent amount of chatter about Mr. Ferdinand. Certainly his biggest song, but one-hit wonder feels like a stretch to me. As a song, it's a classic, though. It's a pretty sick song. That's the word I'd use, sick. But not a one-hit wonder, I'm afraid. LDR Productions 505 says, "The Reason" by Hoobastank. Might be carried by nostalgia, but still a beautiful banger in my eyes. Another textbook fantastic answer right here, and another argument for the one-hit wonder, I'd say. These guys suck, but my god, did they strike gold, or really like iron or something a little less cool with this track here. Indescribably a piece of the 2010s, but separated from its eerily similar competitors. It's another relatively generic sadcore track. I like it more than the Fray song, though. I'll go top of B. RJ Scooper says, "American Boy" by Estelle. Something about that song just takes me back to a certain point in time. A time before Kanye stopped living on the same planet as us. I'm sorry, I can only hear the Chug Jug one. This doesn't even sound right to me, but it's a pretty great track. Kanye pre-Happy Gas is typically a pleasure to the ears, and Estelle throws in a pretty iconic chorus, I'd say. It sounds much more like a Kanye track than it really does her own track, especially production-wise, but I don't make the rules. This is a one-hit wonder, and a fantastic one. Back of the GOAT tier. The Guitar Guy says, "Possum Kingdom" by Toadies. That band deserves so much more recognition. Their first album is amazing. Never heard of these fellas, but this does appear to be their biggest hit by a sizable gap. This is pretty solid, I think. My socks are still on my feet, certainly, but the guitar work here is pretty sick, and it's a fairly unique track. I like it. I'll say back of the S. Riddlebug says, "Got You Where I Want You" by The Flies. This song is actually both their first and second most streamed songs, so that's kind of funny. I'm not that impressed, though. The instrumentation here is pretty lax, relatively minimalist, but it's kind of done in a boring way, I'd say. Not that captivating of a track, I don't think. C tier song. Sam's Epic Gaming 5912 says, "You Get What You Give" by The New Radicals. One of those songs that feels like a shift in decades, and it's a shame they broke up before any other albums were recorded. They probably could have been huge. This is pretty goated if I do say so myself. Really fresh track. Sounds like the end of a movie in the 90s. Not that I'd know, I'm not that old. In fact, I'm pretty young. But this is really fun, and really unique stuff. I haven't heard much like this in a long time, I'd say. I'll go GOAT tier, above Estelle.
And I'm like, whatever.
Tactical Meat says United States of Whatever by Liam Lynch. I don't usually enjoy comedy humor music, but this guitar riff is fun. Comedy music as a whole is typically fairly hard for me to digest personally, and I know what you're thinking. Isn't this the Ween guy? And you'd be right on that. But the Ween I love is kind of the straighter edge Ween. This is just a little boring, I think. The guitar is cool enough, but it's kind of just overbearing. And lyrically trying to be funny, but I'm staring straight ahead like that guy on the thumbnail. It's a D tier from me, I'm afraid. Not that fun of a song.
Shout out Martin Luther King, that nigga had a dream. Fuck do you mean?
The Shady Violet says Martin Luther King by You Know Miles. Incredible hit from the underground legend that has reached the masses. Also, it's MLK Day for another 5 minutes, so this is profound. This is comedy music that almost works. Nothing about it takes itself serious. It's only a minute long. It's not that bad. Go back a C tier.
You so fucking precious when you smile.
I Snort Crouton says Mine by Bazzy. He has like one or two other popular songs, but this one slaps more than any of them. That drop is crazy. I can't take it serious, I don't know. It's too closely connected to like meme culture, I'd say. Definitely gets better after the first silly verse. It's a shame it's kind of bogged down by really all the verses. The chorus is fairly catchy and the production is there, but I feel like I'm just waiting for the chorus. Top of C tier. Corey G 1450 says Cult of Personality by Living Color. Great song that still holds up by a very underrated band. This is pretty sick stuff. Super heavy track. I really fuck with the guitar going on here. Does most of the heavy lifting for sure. But actually, that's all. Top of the S tier. Oxide Like Oxide says What's Up by Four Non-Blondes. This is a classic that I would stand zero chance of naming in a life or death situation. Very nostalgic track. Really great vocal performance as well. It's really fun stuff. This is what the one-hit wonder is all about. Hey, above Toadies in the S tier. Austin Rogers 6932 says Closing Time by Semisonic. One of my favorite one-hit wonders of the 90s. Just one of those songs that brings me back. This is goat shit. I don't want to hear what you have to say. It's peak. This is the definition of the one-hit wonder. It's not even that good, but my god is it peak. Does that make sense? It's so beautifully average in almost every way, but the vibes simply can't be matched due to the nostalgic bug that lives in my skull. I say goat tier above Estelle. L-Man 1195 says Epic by Faith No More. Technically a one-hit wonder by chart standards. Great song, timeless piano outro. I'm a fairly large fan of Faith No More, but this has never really been my favorite track from these fellas. Sounds very 90s in really every regard minus the vocals, which I gotta say aren't really my favorite on this track. I love Mike Patton, I think he's one of the greatest vocalists ever, but his vocals on this song specifically just don't really do it for me. Gotta be above Hoobastank though, I have morals. A tier. Silk GMD says Creep by Radiohead.
Fuck you.
Nuh-uh.
Real as they come, they feel it get numb. You think you got a little buzz, and now you.
Aiden is Bass says Infinity by XXX Tentacion. Actually pretty amazing, don't get me wrong, his music is ass, but this track is great all around. Certainly not a one-hit wonder, I'm afraid. In fact, it's not any of his top 10 most streamed tracks. So yeah. Joey Badass does everything in his power to make this song good, but my god, X just refuses to let that shit happen. One of the greater battles I've ever witnessed in a rap song, to be honest. But not a one-hit wonder, no way. Nafoff 2862 says Bound for the Floor by Local H. All-time favorite band, very underrated except for this one song. Pretty sick. Really sick, actually. I like it a lot. One of the better post-grunge tracks I've heard, maybe period. I really like the vocals here. I don't think I had heard it before, but I'm glad I have now. I say go tier above this yellow one. Latchy Forever 6412 says My Happiness by Powderfinger. My opinion, a very underrated band with some really decent songs. It's this song I really ever hear people talk about or listen to. I thought these guys wrote that one song you'd see in the early 2000s YouTube tutorials, but that was a completely different finger apparently. The song is solid, I think. Not the most unique thing I've ever heard. Sounds fairly generic, but it's not a bad sound. I had fun. I enjoyed it. Back of the A tier. Nerdtendo 6366 says She Blinded Me with Science by Thomas Dolby. This is a pretty good time. I could see this in an 80s movie while the protagonist gets a little jiggy with it, if you would. Pretty great production for its 1982 release date as well. It's a pretty fun song. Top of the A tier. Aaron MWW says, Girl of My Dreams by Bram Tchaikovsky. Pretty much entirely forgotten about, but it's a really sweet first wave power pop track. One Hit Wonder kind of implies it was a hit at some point, and maybe this was bigger before streaming, but these guys have 4,000 monthly listeners. More people probably watch this dumbass video you're watching right now. Can't say it's a hit. Nuh-uh. Carson Kirby is epic, says Through the Fire and Flames by Dragon Force. It's the Guitar Hero song. That's all I really know it for, to be honest. Am I going to say it's not sick? Yeah, actually I am. Speed metal is never really a genre I'm pumped to hear, and while I'd say this is a pretty great rendition of that genre, it's just not a genre with a very high ceiling for me. Intro's cool, that I can't deny. But after that, it gets a little boring, I think. I'll go behind Faith No More in the A tier. D. Peniston 84 says Lady Hear Me Tonight by Majo. So catchy and danceable, yet so beautiful. This is a classic right here. Very catchy stuff. Really well produced. Just sounds like a piece of its time. A beautiful place in history, I'd say, of a song not taking itself too seriously and just delivering some excellent vibes. Directly to your doorstep, overnight shipping. Go goat tier above the Chug Jug song. The One Who Discovers says In the Meantime by Space Hog. An amazing song, sounds good, definitely a one-hit wonder, just a good song in general. Super sick bass line on this track, and the production is pretty great as well. I really like the spacey atmosphere they tried to create here, kind of reminds me very loosely of Failure. Guitar work is cool, vocals aren't that cool. This is A tier, I think. I'm gonna go behind Faith No More. Aquafontaine says Song 2 by Blur, an absolute banger. I was just as insulted as you probably are, dear viewer, and I'm not even really a Blur fan, but I checked the numbers, and I'm afraid this qualifies. As a song, it really isn't my favorite from these guys. It's still a super sick song, really high energy and some killer guitar, but it does feel like a shame this is their most streamed track by a giant gap. Thumbs up for me, though. I'm gonna go top of the A tier. Rock Block 9640 says Three Little Pigs by Green Jelly. One of my all-time favorite songs in the 90s, Green Jelly deserved more attention. I've spotted another Maynard sympathizer. I understand where you're coming from, but I've never really loved this track. It's cool, it's funny, it's entertaining. The guitar is pretty sick, but it's not a song I listen to much at all. It doesn't have a lot of replay value for me. But I think it's cool on the first listen. Still gotta be better than Hoobastank, though. Top of the B tier. Gabriel Loves Rock says Flagpole Sitta by Harvey Danger. One of the catchiest and fun songs ever, very similar to Third Eye Blind. You probably know this track but couldn't name it, at least that's where I was at here. Sounds like a classic to me. I don't know if I hear the Third Eye Blind connection, but it's got that similar soft rock sound going. It's a sound that's relatively hard to fuck up, I'd say. I like it. I'll go A tier. Behind the Hog. Tactical Productions is Fade Into You by Mazzy Star. They have other good songs, but none come close to the popularity of this one. Pretty incredible track right here. Really great vocals, and production, I'd say, to perfectly match those vocals. Very simple song, but certainly a very beautiful one. I had no idea this was as popular as it was, to be honest. This is peak stuff for sure. I'll go S tier behind that one. And that's all I have written here. Thank you for watching, dear viewer. Please subscribe if you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.